Welcome back. In this video I'm gonna show you how you can set up an FTP server on Windows NT4 but for the server variant. In this channel you can find yourself the installation of Windows or of FTP server on Windows NT but for the workstation variant. The difference is quite small in the installation and you're gonna see it, which is you have two methods for the server variant. During the installation you will be able to choose whether you want to install an FTP server during the first installation or not. So follow along. Here I'm gonna make a virtual machine for the Windows NT4 server. You name it and then you choose the ISO. That is, let's check, choose guided mode. We call it again, call it the way you like, choose any name you like. This, next, finish. Let's check the settings because there is one invalid setting. This, okay. If you are using VirtualBox version 6, you will not be able to choose the ISO, so you will have two options. Either you come to settings and in the storage you choose the ISO here, you come here and then you choose the disk file and everything, or before you start the computer it's gonna prompt you to choose the ISO. But if you're running with VirtualBox the version 7, it's gonna be exactly the same as this. We start our setup, we start our machine, which is going to take us to the setup. If you're using through hardware, you just put the CD in your CD or DVD drive on your computer, and then during the boot, if it is the first option, the CD is the first option. It's supposed to run immediately. Otherwise, you press your boot menu key. It can be from F9 to F12 depending, or even something else from F1 maybe, depending on the manufacturer of your machine. It can be also tab, it depends. Just check with your manufacturer and you will know what is your boot menu. And then you will get this, enter, C, page down, you're supposed to read that of course, enter, and then we create a partition. Here we should make the C partition less than 2 gigabytes, and then create partition. Let's format this NTFS, this NTFS. We choose the one that's less than 2 gigabytes. You don't necessarily need to make it like less, like 500 megabytes than 2 gigabytes. You can make it 2 or 3 megabytes less. Why? Because I tried to install it on a partition that is bigger than 2 gigabytes and it doesn't allow you. You can never reach this step. Enter. Now we'll go to the next step. Make sure you take off the disk or the ISO. Otherwise it will take you again to the installation. For me, I'm going to turn off the machine again, power off the machine, so we can go directly to the next step of the setup. We don't need to keep waiting for it and then leave. We just turn off and then start again. Remember, this is a virtual machine. For your case, if you're using through hardware, you just take off the CD or you don't choose the boot menu and it will continue to the next step that you're going to see right now. Reboot from it, enter, or it's gonna take you by itself. Okay, we insert the disk because it needs it to continue the setup. we choose the one that we used before. Okay, click OK here. Next, just choose any name, whatever name it is. Mark. Next, put your CD key. Be careful with this for the legal stuff. 419.1.3.4.3.2.5.3. No, I didn't read write the rest. Okay, next. Capture. This doesn't matter. What I want to take you to is or thing that I want you to see is ticking or choosing to install IIS. So here you choose any name for your computer. NT4 Servi. Anything, doesn't matter. Next. I'm not gonna put a password. If you want to put, you can put in the previous window or screen. Next, you can fill all of these ones or choose them. They aren't very big. I guess Windows messaging, I'm not gonna choose it. Why should I install 4 megabytes for something that is not supported anymore? So it's just like it doesn't exist. Next. Yes, this one. So you have the option to install your FTP server during the installation of Windows NT for the first time. Just keep it like this and it's gonna be installed. Here it says optimized for Windows NT server. It uses standard web protocols, HTTP, FTP, Gopher. That's what we need to know, and that's what we need. So later I'm gonna show you the rest of the setup options of the FTP server. Click next. Start search. This one becomes like about installing Windows NT server in general, Windows NT4 server. Next. Continue. Yes. Next. So here again, next, finish. It's supposed to restart the computer now. In my case, the virtual machine. If you want to use yes, here this window is very similar to when we have chosen to install the FTP server on the workstation variant. So you click OK, just like you did there. Yes, and OK here. It's very similar. Yes again, and it's gonna do the job. OK. Here we have no problem. OK. Close. Okay, so soon it's gonna restart after it sets up whatever needed. Restart. There might be an error here. I forgot to take off the disk. Just like you should do yourself if you are running a virtual machine or a true computer, you should take off the disk, power off the machine, so it doesn't take us to the setup process again from the beginning and we need to leave. And now it's the first start for our first booting after the installation. Okay, here we press, if you are using a true computer, you press Ctrl Alt Delete and then you press just boot or start your computer the normal way for all the old Windows versions, or I guess also Windows Server has similar way. Maybe we make videos about Windows Server if you want. It's worth it, by the way. So we install the guest editions to make the screen better. Screen resolution, you can see it's a window inside of another window, and the other window is a VNC connection. We can make also a video about that, otherwise there are plenty of them online. You can check. Close. Okay, so now the next step, let's go back. The next step for you to set up or finish the setup of your FTP server, if you have chosen during the installation to install the IIS, is to come to Microsoft Internet Server, choose this one, Internet Service Manager, just like you did before, but with a small difference. You come here, it's running. You don't need to do this, but if you want to make sure that your directory of your FTP server accepts the files that are written to it, you click Service Properties, and you come to Directories here. You come here and then you edit Properties. You put here right, and then click OK, OK again, and you're good to go. Just make sure that you can connect to it. We check our IP address first by running this command, which can be run on any Windows machine, including the newest one, ipconfig, not afconfig. Yes, so we need to change it here to be bridged. And this. To be able to connect to it from any computer in the local area network. And for you, if you have, let's reboot the system. If you have a true computer that's running Windows NT4 server, this is going to be good for you to transfer files and sometimes also to install some stuff on your Windows NT4. You don't need to plug in or put a CD or plug a flash drive. You don't need to do any of that. All you have to do is to connect to it and move the file from and to that server. We reboot it to make sure that the IP address changes to be able to connect to it from our local area network, from any computer. So input, okay, capture. For those that are running a true computer, you don't need to do all of this. All you have to do is to take the IP address, because it's supposed to be connected directly, and the IP address is set up already by your DHCP server, which can be your router or anything. The DHCP server in many cases is the router itself, which is set up to automatically do the DHCP process. Now we check our IP address. Command prompt. Okay, 79. Here we type what you're gonna see. FTP and the IP address. 79, connect. If we copy any file from this, let's take this, copy, put it here, paste, done. So if we go to the folder on our FTP server, we will find the file that we copied. It's here. Okay, so this is the first method. Alright, so now I'm gonna show you the second way to install or set up the FTP server on your Windows NT4 server. And the first method that I have shown you, it's by making sure that the Microsoft Internet Information Service server is installed during the initial setup. But here I'm just gonna show you, I didn't show you the full setup of Windows NT server in my case. I didn't show you the full setup, so I'm gonna prove to you that here I'm not gonna tick this one. I'm not gonna install it during the setup. So later, if you forgot, if you have Windows NT4 running on your computer, the server variant, and you forget to check this one, I'm gonna show you how to do exactly to set up your FTP server. I'm gonna finish the setup and come back to you. Alright, we continue with the second method of the FTP server setup on Windows NT4 server. Okay, sorry for the confusion because the name is kind of long and it's confusing. So now, as I said, we will continue, and you have to make sure you have your setup CD with you or ISO. The second method is very similar with the workstation variant for Windows NT4. You go to settings, control panel, network, services, odd, and then select Microsoft Internet Information Server, okay, and then put your CD, which is this one in my case. You check which one. You choose the place or the path. In my case it's E. For you, you need to make sure which one exactly. It can be D, or if you're using floppy diskettes, it can be different. I don't know how to do that. Okay, close this screen, press OK, and the setup is going to be similar. Okay, yes, very similar to workstation 4 and very similar to the windows that appeared during the initial setup of your Windows NT4 server. Takes some time. Okay, we have no problem with installing this. If you don't want to install it, you can skip or whatever. Now it says that it's successfully completed. Okay, close, and then we enable or make sure that our server is running. We go to Microsoft Internet Server, this one, properties like before, and then directories, this one, edit properties, right, to make sure that you're right. Why you better use FTP server? Because it is still supported until now, unlike the Samba server, which is the old version of it, which is on Windows NT4, is no longer supported, so you'll not be able to mount your folders on most of the systems unless you are running Windows XP or Windows 2000 or something. Okay, now we check our IP address. We may need to restart in case we should change. Yes, so it's similar. If you wanna go to network settings, if you are running on true hardware, just like I said many times, you don't need to do this. It's gonna be connected automatically. We restart. Yes, this also is good if you are running a weak computer and you want to transfer data. This can help you, whether you make a virtual machine or you install this on your system primarily. I forgot to take this off, otherwise it's gonna take us to the full installation, which we don't need. Let's just restart it and start it. Enter. You press enter if you don't want to wait for the timer, by the way. Okay, it's up to you. Here, input, keyboard. You on your true hardware, you press Ctrl Alt Delete to start, just like you do that with the new versions of Windows Server. It's very similar. It started from here. This is nostalgia, guys. If if you are nostalgic to the old hardware and software, I'm kind of like that. It's worth it anyway, if you agree with me. Yes, so now we take the IP address and connect directly to our FTP server. It's 80. Here we still have the old, the other server that we set up at the beginning of this video. Connect. It's empty. We take a file. Let's take this one, copy, paste it here. It's there. We check here the root file, the root directory of the FTP server is /rc inetpub FTP root. We have it here. We can make a new file, text document, keep it like that, subscribe, like, share, comment, like that, close it, yes, and we check it here, F5 to refresh, and then open with Pluma. There you go. Yeah, that was everything, I guess. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Even if you have any problem, comment. If you dislike, no problem, but try to tell me what is the reason. We are here to improve, to make something better. I hope you like this video. Thanks for watching. See you around.